the right, and we've got Ruby Sapphire on the left. So this is going to be a bit more of a slower matchup. So Amethyst Sapphire tends to play the purple Sapphire package with your Madamims and your Merlins, but also adds in the new Sapphire ramp package with Zelda Azurite Seas, Tipo, so they can push in a little bit more the higher end. Interesting cards that they do tend to play, from my understanding, is Hades.
Hades, yep. We'll see probably 2 to 3 of those in this deck. Affectionately referred to as Blurple, which I think is quite a fun name. Yeah, we'll see some Hades, and also the big Elsa, which most decks can't get away with running because they can't get to 8 ink reliably. But if you're running blue along with a card draw color like purple, you will consistently be getting to 8, 9, 10 ink without any issues.
Sure. So we see Tam playing the expected openers of Zelda Azurite Seas, allows them to draw a card. Obviously, we'll probably ink another card as well. And does he have one like a Chernobog's? Yes, Chernobog's in. And then we see the Broom questing for 1. So Broom, very interesting card in that it allows itself to be banished whenever one of your characters is played, meaning that you can play something on turn 1, and it has the ability to challenge or put up a bit of a fight if you need it in turn 1. And then later on, as the game gets a little bit more higher pace, you can brush them off and draw an extra card on the way out.
Yeah, I think one of the strongest components to these purple decks is the very strong set of 1-drops that they have. So they got Magic Broom, which
see
can potentially...
Fabian responding with a Tipo. So Tipo obviously is the other 2-cost card that Sapphire will play to ramp up on turn 2. It's really important to be able to jump from your 2 ink to 4 ink. Tipo, obviously, because you're inking an extra card from your hand, it doesn't gain you the same advantage that Zelda Azurite Seas does, but he does put a body on the board. So in this particular case, Tipo will be able to challenge the Broom or the Chernobog's follows on the following turn. We did see the Genie come down, and this is where the pressure really starts applying. So Fabian really has to get into gear right now because that Genie is going to start things moving. And we got a Brawl, and no problem at all. We're just clearing this board. Yeah, that was an issue.
Yeah, quite interesting from Tam's turn there. Questing with the Chernobog's followers had the potential to banish it there. But valued the board presence of having that 2-1 body on the board to trade with the Tipo. So Tipo trades in, doesn't get to just cycle a card, which is often what you want to do with it here, but I'm guessing Tam's got a plan in mind. So here we see the Broom questing, and I think I see a Genie in hand here. So yep, there we go. Coming down.
It's going to be Genie after Genie after Genie. Obviously, a 2/4 that has evasive, so it's a very difficult character to challenge and to knock out. It also quests for 2 law every turn, so it's a very fast card. We're seeing a Popsicle played by Fabian and probably Haram at this stage. Haram trades it away and draws 2 cards. Some of our international guests are playing really fast. They are really into this game.
I know.
And inks a Zelda Azurite Sea, so has played 1 and had a Tipo in the early turn. So thinking probably don't need to commit any more right now. And Tam doesn't seem to be at such a aggressive lore lead that he has to press in for the Be Prepared or the Sisus just yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Admittedly, one of the disadvantages of Genie, it does have 2 strength, which means it is within range of almost everything that Red has in terms of its package. And also its ability of being evasive does not protect it from Maui Half Shark. So if we do see a Maui Half Shark at any point, he probably will be taking a chomp out of Genie.
Oh, here we go. McDuck's
Manor.
Here we go.
This one is a hard one to bash through for Fabian.
This is, we were talking about this card earlier. This card is very close to my heart. Scrooge McDuck is certainly one of my favorite Disney characters. I think he is just so much fun, and I love seeing the way he's been imagined in this game.
And one of the benefits is that even if Fabian plays a bit of a board wipe, whether it's Be Prepared or Sisu, Tam has been able to commit a certain amount of extra law onto the field that is not susceptible to the board wipe. So even if a Sisu is played, wipes out the Genie, wipes out the Magic Broom, McDuck Man is still around, and he's still gaining 2 law each turn, and Fabian's still effectively, actually on 0. And looks like Haram is taking the long journey of disassembling the manor himself, one willpower at a time.
Here we go.
We saw the Maui, as I said before, so he's going to be attempting to take a chomp out of Genie. And probably a Hades coming in. That's what I'd be playing if I was in his shoes right now, Tam's shoes. Now, does he have the Hades? Friends from the other side to draw 2 cards. He's trying to draw for some answers. Did he get it? Did he get it?
I think I can see it in hand. But
Let it go. No.
No,
Was that Let It Go?
that was Diablo. And
Yeah.
there's
And
the
the
Hades.
Hades, yeah,
Here
cool.
we go.
So the first Maois has to be eaten by the Hades. There's not a lot of actions right now in the current metagame that will be able to target Maui successfully, but Hades definitely the answer you want, and he also quests 2. He's also a very solid target, a very solid body on free 6 as well.
Yep, so for anyone new to the game, Hades will send one of your opponent's cards into their inkwell, so it's not all bad news for Fabian. That gives them an additional ink, so they can potentially play one of their big 8-cost cards. Ooh, Fishbone Quill,
This is a blast from the past.
Yeah, I know, that's a card.
Haven't really been seeing this very much recently. So Fishbone Quill is a card that we've seen in earlier sets. It's been falling out the meta a little bit recently. It allows you to effectively just exert it to put another card into your ink.
And there we go. Be prepared. First one of the day. So that has wiped the board. But as you were saying, Jason, McDuck's Manor is not a character. It's a location. So it is not affected by character removal cards. So
Tam very much was prepared. He got that
he
McDuck
was
Manor.
prepared. He knew what was coming.
Those nice
so.
marble tiles really holding up.
One of my favorite things to do is, I'm not sure if Tam's running it in their list, but a lot of people do run Scrooge McDuck in this list, so you can play Scrooge McDuck and then you can move him into McDuck's Manor, which has no effect. But if you've got an additional ink, hey, why would you not do it? So extra style points. And here we go. This is some
so we got a
classic
snake.
purple play here.
Some purple loops, picking up putting down the Merlin Rabbit. So Merlin Rabbit, when it comes into play, allows you to draw the card. When it leaves play, it allows you to draw a card. So for 4 costs, for 4 ink, playing a 2/3, not a big body, but it does draw you 2 cards, both in on the way out. Play Madam Mim, which is a 2-cost snake that will return one of your characters back to your hand, but for a 2-cost 3/3 body, it's above stats as well. So basically, this is the purple loop of putting the Merlins back into your hand to use their effects again and again.
Yes. All right, and we've seen Tamatoa come down, so let's see if Tam can find another Hades or another answer to this card. That is certainly one of the bigger threats that this red-blue deck likes to run. Every time it quests, you can fetch an item from your discard, and that's often going to be the Porpsicle. So you can banish your Porpsicle, which draws a card on play. You can banish it, quest with your Tamatoa, fetch the Porpsicle out of your graveyard and put it back in your hand, and then you can replay it again. So that can generate a lot of card draw and value for this list.
We are seeing the rabbit being played again, and Tam does have a lower amount of lore, so
yes,
looks like 6. So it looks like there's not too much action. He probably still will ink a card at this stage, just because his hand size is so large. He's been able to keep up his hand size hand economy very well, but he does not appear to have an answer to Tamatoa, and Tamatoa is just going to be one of those cards that if it sticks, it's just going to run away with the game. It's going to pick up a lot more items. It's got big stats, and you're going to be able to draw cards from the extra popsicles as well. So he's going to be drawing a ton of extra cards. He's going to be questing for a lot more, and he's got a big, beefy body.
Well, one of the interesting things, though, I guess with this McDuck's Manor, it's sitting there giving 2 additional 10 lore. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so it gives 2 additional lore. It's essentially set up the clock, and if Fabian doesn't have a way to deal with it in the next few turns, it's just going to keep gaining that 2 additional ink, go to 12, 14, 16. So if the BLURPLE player can just prevent their opponent from racing up towards 20 lore and they don't have an answer for this location, then that's going to be exactly what they want. So here we go. Banish the Porpsicle, fetch it with the Tamatoa, play the Porpsicle.
Oh, he didn't have an extra one in his discard pile in his banish.
No,
that's really rough.
Yeah, so ideally there you like to keep your items on board with Tamatoa, because when Tamatoa quests, you gain additional lore based on how many items you got on the field. But yeah, at the moment, Fabian valuing the card draw over the lore.
And we see a Maleficent?
No, that is Scar, Vicious Cheater.
Ooh, okay. So whenever he challenges, if he has challenge character, he will get to ready, and then he can challenge again. So he gets a challenge 2 characters, and he's a big, beefy, reasonably strong attack. I believe it's got 5 health.
6/5. That's correct.
Yeah, 6/5. Which is pretty strong stats. One of the main reasons why it's played is because it's 7 costs. So hilariously, Scar being a 7 cost allows him to sing Be Prepared. Be prepared.
Oh, goodness, I hope we get to see that. But gotcha. All right. And what do we see here?
And looks like
Fabian has
scooped
them up.
Yep. So
yeah, I think
Tam would have gained 2 on the Scrooge McDuck. He would have gained another 3 from his characters, and then we saw the goat. I'm not sure if that was lethal, and like
awful.
yeah, It might have been very close to lethal, if not lethal on that turn. So he's just revealed the cards, and yep, that would have been it.
Yep. So here we are, on to game 2. So red-blue will be on the play now. Generally, I think most decks, I think red-blue will be favored on the play here.
Like
but
you,
yeah,
you say that, but in our testing, we have noticed that red blue, when it is not on the play, when it's not playing turn 1 against some of these more aggressive decks, it really struggles to close out the game. And I think Fabian, it appears that he might have been playing a bit more of an older build of Ruby Sapphire. So maybe that was a bit of an issue. We saw the Fishbone Quill. And we saw the Fishbone Quill, so maybe it might be a slightly older build, or it might not be as fast, and maybe that might have been the reason why he wasn't able to equalize on the board. We didn't see any Sisus at all, I don't believe.
No, I didn't see a Sisu there. Not the 3 cost, not the 8 cost.
Maybe he didn't draw into it, or maybe.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the emergence of Blurple with this set. It's another one of these decks where, between the Genie and Sail the Azurite Sea, it's really given it a bit of a power bump. So I think Genie just gives you so much tempo. For a 4-ink card, it quest for 2, it's got evasive, so it's quite hard to deal with for a lot of decks. Draws a card, it's got a lot of things that this Blurple deck wants to do in it. So I think that has pushed it. And then, yeah, just with the high-quality ramp cards like Sail, it's just given the...
So now that the shoe's on the other foot, and Ruby Sapphire is on the play, what are some of the cards we want to see? Obviously, we probably want to see Tipo instead of Azurite Sea. We want to see a Popsicle turn 1. Not much else he's doing on turn 1. But Tam on the Blurple, what does he want to see for his opening hand? What's he mulliganing for?
I think you want a 1-drop. You definitely want to try and get that early lore in as fast as you can. So things like Magic Brooms and Chernobogs. Your turn 2, you're typically going to want to ramp, so be looking for probably Sail the Azurite Sea, or again, perhaps Tipo. And then, yeah, turn 4 is often Genie or Rabbit. Just get that card draw going, start generating value, and then try and get your questing in when you can.
Yeah, one of the advantages of Sail the Azurite Sea is that it effectively just gives you a second ability to ink that turn, which means you can play the Sail. You can ink on your second turn. You can Sail the Azurite Sea. You ink again, and that gives you 1 fresh ink there, which you can play another 1 off. So you can send another Broom or another Chernobogs, which will either threaten a challenge or will be able to quest for a lore, and you can always pick it up later or cycle it for a card.
Yep,
so looks like both our players are ready to go.
All right, here we go, and Fabian will be kicking us off. So
do we have turn 1 Popsicle?
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Turn 1 Popsicle for GG's.
GG
Popsicle. All right, we got the turn 1 GG Popsicle.
That is exactly what every red-blue player wants to see.
Standard classic.
Yeah.
Standard classic. All right, do we have a Broom or Chernobogs? Broom or Chernobogs? It is a Broom.
And we saw Tipo going into the Inkwell, so I'm predicting there's probably another ramp card in Tam's hand. So for any new players who haven't played Lorcana before, the way the resource system essentially works is most of your cards are inkable, and once per turn you can add an additional card to your Inkwell, and that will allow you to play progressively more and more powerful cards as the game goes on. And then with these 2 blue decks, one of the core mechanics of Sapphire is ramp. So when we say ramp, it allows you to add additional cards to your Inkwell for that turn, so it lets you get to playing your bigger stuff more quickly. So I think what we'll see here, we see the ink, we see the Tipo on both sides, it's a Tipo party, and quest with the Broom. So
Tipo in this matchup significantly worse for Tam, because having the body is not necessarily as important as Sail as actually drawing the extra card, and also your additional lore came in exerted. Looks like we have just a normal song, How Far Will I Go, just being paid for 4, which is an interesting play. Typically, you on your 4 ink turn, you want to be playing either Haram or you want to be playing Grammatala. Interesting, because Fabian inked Grammatala on the turn 2 play. Typically, you want to put Grammatala on the 4 ink turn, and then on the 5th ink turn, she can then be used to either challenge or be used to singing How Far Will I Go. So that's an interesting line of play. Maybe he just thinks he doesn't need to go as fast. So Tam responded with Goat. Standard turn 4 play, not a Genie.
I think this was the plan here. Get the Maui Half Shark down as soon as possible. And yeah, Fabian would love to fetch that How Far I'll Go, play it again. And that's just one of the beautiful things about this Half Shark card. It just generates so much value. So yeah, I think both players will be reasonably happy with their starts here. I think Tam has built a solid board.
He's still a little bit far away from getting Hades out, so
Yeah, that's true though.
he,
4
he,
ink
he
to
he can definitely
6.
quest with the broom, and then he can sweep it away as he plays the card down. Potentially, he can also quest with the goat and pick it up with, say, a snake. But he also probably wants to be moving his game plan forward. So, can you see what's in his hand at the moment?
No,
He's thinking.
not easily, but
Almost certainly the broom is questing this turn. It looks like he's just turning it all sideways. That gains him an additional free lore.
yep.
Is he just challenging Maui to say, hey, I know you're going to take out by one my guy, so I'm just going to play my game plan? And out comes Genie.
And we'll
Trying
probably
for an answer. Definitely have to ink something here, but this is pretty punishing.
Yeah, this half shark is going to be generating a lot of value here for Fabian. But yeah, I think Tam's plan is correct here. So yeah, I think this Blurple deck, you really need to try and beat red-blue.
Fabian's really hit the ground running here. He is so far ahead right now. Maui's just going to take a chunk out, going Zelda Azurite Seas, gains an additional lore because the Zelda Azurite Seas as well. Maui's going to come in this turn. Tipo is probably Tipo is going to be challenging into the broom, probably, right? And then you send Maui into presumably Tipo, maybe go. You'd send it into the Tipo for sure.
I think
keep the Maui up a little bit higher statted.
Yeah, I think Maui will probably challenge the broom here. This is another one of these great things about this Maui card. Every time that Fabian plays an action, he's gaining 1 additional lore here. So cards like Sail, Develop Your Brain, cards that draw or let you ramp, just generating more value. And he's fetched the Develop Your Brain here from the yard.
Oh,
so
yes, true. Okay, so it is a one-cost action. It's a card that we haven't been seeing too much recently, but I guess in a strategy that revolves a little bit more around Maui, it is an additional action you can play for 1, so it's something that you can just, look at top 2 and put 1 into your hand. It's a quick way to gain a lore. So it looks like he's actually turboing out.
Yeah, I really like the way that Fabian's approached this. I think the Maui with a lot of cheap actions in hand. I think he's at 4 now. Yeah, so Maui with a lot of cheap actions can generate you a lot of lore, and then you can fetch those cheap actions and play them again, which you're seeing here. So,
and I think he quested with the Tipo?
The Tipo? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, so I think they're 5/5 piece now.
And what are we going to see on Tam's turn here? I think we
you need an answer for Maui. So
yeah, I think I see a crab.
He's evasive, so it's very difficult to challenge into him. So you can, we're going to crab into the Genie and just send him in.
Yep, I think that's quite good. So crab on the turn it comes out gives another one of your characters challenger +3, so that gives them additional 3 strength when they challenge that turn. So Genie only had 2 strength there, but with the additional +3, was able to take out the Maui half shark there.
Yeah,
but Tam is bouncing the goat there, another classic play. But Tam's ink is probably not where he wants it to be right now. I think 5 ink is definitely on the lower side for this Blurple deck. But yeah, again, I think you need to keep the tempo high when you're playing Blurple against red-blue.
Fabian really running off with this game. The resource differential is massive, and Tam hasn't really been able to draw that many cards. Typically, you want to have a little bit more ink, and you want to be playing some of your rabbits right now so you can continue on your ramp. That early game Tipo, obviously you do have to play it to ramp, but just like the big difference between playing Tipo versus Seas. And we got the Tamatoa coming down, picking up a popsicle, putting a popsicle in.
That is definitely
Tam is on the clock
now.
To see, yeah. So this is really definitely Tam has max free turns, I reckon, at this stage.
I would say so, yeah. I think playing that popsicle and then the Hiram's able to banish that popsicle, draw 2 more cards. So the card advantage is definitely present here for the red-blue player.
All right, cool. Sending in both the snake and the crab to take out Haram.
The Haram,
Yep. So, admittedly, yes, both your characters are still sticking around, but I don't think that was the target. You know, Tamatoa's.
Tamatoa's not exerted, so it's not able to challenge characters when they're not exerted. But let's see what Tam can do here. I think I see a Genie in hand. I see a Bell in hand.
Is there any way that realistically Tam could race Fabian right now? So
I don't think Tam has much choice.
He has to race because his resource is so low. He just has to turn his guys sideways and quest up to low and try to get over 20 because he's definitely not going to be able to out trade Fabian at this stage. The resource differential is too big. Ink's too different. think he just has to go for it. But I guess it's definitely slowing down the Haram was probably necessary in order to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to let Fabian keep banishing those Popsicles and drawing 2 cards every turn. All right, so Fabian's got a handful of cards. Let's see what they are able to do with it.
Yep, Popsicle down, standard play.
We may... I'm not seeing any board wipes.
Also a little bit hard to pass out how much ink he has. Probably 8 or something?
I would say 9, yeah. It's...
So your board's all right.
Yeah, he's certainly got a lot of choices here. Just doing some math.
Doing some math. All right, cool. So we got Genie for +2, and then the other ones are +3. So in total, we got +5. Means theoretically, if everything sticks, got 3 more turns, right? Tan will need 3 turns to push them over the line.
Yeah, we may see the Tamatoa.
So running the math on it right now, he obviously it seems like he should be trying to take out some, challenge some of these units.
Yeah.
Genie really is the only threat. The other 3 are only 1 law. So what could he really have? Like a Sisu? Sisu would hit the Genie and
the Genie and the Tipo, which
is pretty
good. And then Tamatoa could challenge either the Crab or the Snake. But yeah, from what I've seen in Fabian's hand, I'm not sure.
You don't want to go be prepared because you're losing Tamatoa. He doesn't have Scar, so Scar will also be a good play because you can come in, it can challenge a Tipo, challenge a Crab, or it can go like Snake Crab.
Yes.
What else does he? How do you have so many cards but don't have an answer?
I know.
Does he just not want to play Maleficent? He doesn't. He probably doesn't have the ink for Maleficent.
I think he would. Tamatoa questing for 2 there. Yep. Fetching another Popsicle. I think.
He's just digging for answers. All right.
Digging for answers. That's right. I see a roll there by the looks of it. That's not bad. And we may even just see the sale here. I'm seeing that.
No, you need to convert for board. So, like, if you see the Brol's hitting Genie for sure.
Yeah, I think we will see that. Here we go.
Yep.
And yeah, Fishbone.
Oh, Fishbone Quill.
I think it makes sense here. It gives the Tamatoa additional lore every time.
True. Yeah.
That's assuming the Quill.
That's assuming the Tamatoa sticks around. I guess if you've got a fistful of cards in hand, you might as well just stick them all into ink so you've got like big turns on the following turn later. So Tamatoa theoretically, Tamatoa can be traded into the whole board. Oh, we see the Brawl. Yep. So Genie's out.
Quest for 1.
Theoretically, Tam can decide to just say, hey, I'm just going to Zerg my board into Tamatoa. Because Tamatoa is actually a threat now.
It is, yeah. Questing for 5 now with that double Fishbone, double Popsicles. So every item gives Tamatoa 1 additional lore. So, yeah, every time it's questing now, it would be questing for 5. And then I'm not sure whether Fabian's running Lucky Dime or not, but if they were able to get that down, that would increase its lore.
Some of the numbers are just a little bit off. So if he challenged the Crab into Tamatoa, that would deal free. And then he can give Challenger free to another unit.
Yes.
If you put on the Snake, you're going a little bit higher on the Tamatoa. If you put on the Tipo, you don't have enough to challenge it all the way through. So it looks like he's just going in, cool. Yep. And then he has to stick the Challenger free onto the Snake, presumably.
I think we will be seeing that play,
probably just Snake going in. Yep, pokes the Snake. All right, cool.
Which
what? On the way out as well.
Yeah. No, good card. A lot of these purple cards have that effect, which is
hilarious.
Nice.
These Tipos have stuck around since turn 2. Just like 2 pawns looking at each other from the across the field.
Like, I'm not used to being around this long. What are we doing here? So, here we go. The McDuck's Manor. So once again, trying to set up the clock here and just get that passive lore income from the locations. We see Bell going into the Inkwell, and we may see Tamatoa quest here. And then I think I saw a Madam Mim Fox in hand, so we'll probably see that bounce the Tipo.
Maybe not yet. Maybe you might hold it.
Interesting. Yeah, probably looking for a bigger threat.
But it depends on if Fabian has another Tamatoa available in hand. Obviously, if you have enough Tamatoa, you just slam it down right now. But Tamatoa you're running small lines of it now, so you're not playing nearly as many. It used to be 4, now it's like 2 to 3.
2 to 3, yeah. I think most lists are running 3 at the moment. There's just other cards.
So you're just digging away with Haram.
Yep. I don't think I see a single red card in Fabian's hands.
And this is the problem with Sapphire Ruby is that, it draws a lot of cards, but a lot of cards are just used to draw other cards.
That's right.
Sometimes you just want to draw cards that do stuff. Like,
where is the good stuff that I am trying to
Where's the
for?
juice,
Yep. And that is the problem that Fabian's currently...
all right, Tamatoa. All right, cool. All right.
That's pretty good.
We cooking.
Yeah.
All right, so still more ink? Need more ink? You want to invest?
Oh, and there's the Hideaway. So this is one of the tech cards that we've been seeing come into this list a lot.
So it's a 2-cost song. Obviously, Tam read it. 2-cost song allows you put a item or a location into the inkwell face down. It only costs 2 as well, so it's very well costed, very versatile.
Yeah, very cheap.
And yeah, he drew into the tech card, and you know he had an answer for the mana.
Yeah, that's one of the few answers that this red-blue list can run. Again, it's a very passive deck. It doesn't commit a lot to the board. You've usually only got 1 or 2 things out there. Your game plan's not really to fight for the board with challenges. It's to play other sort of actions and removals.
We see the goat loops right now, so
There we
in
go.
and out. So that's another 2 extra lore.
So I quite like that from Tam because, yeah, I thought we might see the Fox come down the previous turn, but obviously he knows this deck better than I do. So bouncing the goat there gains you 2 additional lore.
Yeah, but it's also a very uninteractable source of lore. So
Yes.
once you pick the goat back up to your hand, any deck other than green or a very obscure yellow
Yes.
can't deal with it.
That's correct, and yeah, I think that's one of the things that this red-blue deck really struggles with. It's like if people just keep bouncing their goats, there's no way that you can interact with that, so it's just guaranteed lore.
It's an inevitable slow clock towards
That's right.
20.
Yes.
The only way to slow that clock a little bit is you obviously play Pirate's Life.
Yep.
Or you just race. So looks like we are looking at the top 5.
Yes, Tipo question for 1 on that turn, and Fabian. I'm not quite sure. I think he selected how far I'll go there because apparently 14 ink or whatever he's got in there was just not enough.
If you've got plenty of ink, you can easily use your ink to just dig for more stuff.
Yeah.
So Haram, draw 2 more cards.
I think I saw Scar Vicious Cheater there. We may see that one come down.
At this stage, you don't really worry about it. He just at this point you just put down all your items, and then you turn your Tamatoa sideways for like 4 or 5. I'm surprised he's not going to pay 4 and play like how far I'll go first to see if he draws into like say another popsicle. He's just going to just pick up another straight popsicle, put it down, gain 3 lore from that quest because he had 2 items.
And there was the Be Prepared off the top.
Doesn't really matter at this
I
stage.
don't think we're going to see that coming down. I think Fabian's looking quite in command here.
Does he really need to be drawing more cards? Like, wouldn't at this stage, if you got a fistful of cards, you would just keep your items on the field and just use Tamatoa to just quest for more, right? You want to, like, he had lethal, but I don't know what's he doing. What's he now? Is he just all right? Maleficent. It's a little bit overkill. The Madam M Fox wasn't really doing anything, right? Like, yeah, it can challenge some for 4, but
I think he's just trying to lock the game up. So I think just reducing any lore that Tam can possibly accumulate on their turn, trying to shut that down. Which, yeah, it's looking quite good here for our Red Blue
he's
players.
basically got a second deck as his inkwell.
Yeah, but one of the funny things, one of the obscure ways to lose in this game is running out of cards in your library. So Fabian is probably not in danger this game, but it's certainly one thing that I've only ever seen the red-blue decks
Let's think about Tam's situation. So Fabian is definitely showing lethal for next turn. Tam is, we know one of the cards in hand is a goat.
Yes.
Other card, don't know what it
I
is.
think I see a fox in there.
But if it's not a Be Prepared, this is over, right? So you play the goat, yes, you can gain 1, and you've got 2 additional ink. You can do a snake, yeah, you can pick it up. There's no other options. You can play Genie, draw a card, so goat, gain a lore. I think he's probably going to extend the hand, right?
I think this one's in the books, to be honest.
Cool.
I think
So,
Fabian is just in such a commanding position here with all the items on the board. So, and Fabian
Just messily,
turns
just like, all right,
everything
cool, yeah, all
sideways.
right, that's it. Well done to both our players. We